In this video, I'm going to show you how working with your chart ruler can transform your brand strategy and make your message more powerful and authentic. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Sophia Palace. I'm a business astrologer, a copywriter, and an online business strategist, here to help you decode the ancient wisdom of astrology so that you can apply it practically and powerfully in your business for more alignment and success. Today, we are talking about chart rulership. Understanding planetary ruler of your chart is going to improve your brand and give you that competitive edge. First up, let me explain what the chart ruler is. So the chart ruler is the planet that rules the ascendant or the rising sign of your natal chart or your business natal chart. So this is the sign that was rising over the eastern horizon at the time you were born or at the time your business was founded. So the planet that rules the rising sign is considered to be the ruler of the chart. This is the most important planet for you to consider in both your own personal chart and your business chart if you have one, because this is going to give you an extra insight into how your business stands out in the marketplace and what special source it's getting from its planetary ruler. The chart ruler colors how you interact with the world. It influences your behavior, your style, your messaging, your branding, just generally the impression that you give to others. If you're a solopreneur, you'll be looking at your chart to understand the ruler of your business brand. If you have a larger business, or if you are a solopreneur but you have a company chart or a business birth chart, you'll be looking at this ruler to kind of give you that extra insight into the branding of your business. The sign that the chart ruler is placed in adds another layer of nuance here, and we're not going to be able to go into all of this today, but I wanted to clarify at the outset that you might have, for instance, like I do, I have Venus as the ruler of my chart as a Taurus rising. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Venus is the ruler of my chart. In my chart, Venus is in Scorpio. So the sign of Scorpio has a specific flavor that is going to influence the chart ruler as well. So we've got not only the chart ruler is Venus, and we think about Venus themes coloring my entire chart, we also think about Venus in Scorpio. What specifically does that mean for the entire chart? So that will inform my approach to branding, and it will be different from someone who has Venus, for example, in Taurus, or Venus in Libra, or Venus in any other sign who has Venus as their chart ruler, because that sign's influence is going to exert a different flavor in your business messaging, branding, marketing. So by integrating the characteristics of your chart ruler into your business strategy, this is where you can create a brand that is authentic, that is more powerful, that's going to resonate more deeply with your ideal clients. Your business activities, when you're aligning with that chart ruler, are going to feel more effective and more natural. They're going to come more natural and more effortlessly to you. Awesome. So let's dive into the chart rulers. Now we're using the 7 traditional planets as the chart rulers. That is the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, the 7. So those are the traditional planetary rulers. So we're going to dive into all of those 7 today. So first up, if you have the Sun as your chart ruler, this means that you are a Leo rising, because the Sun is the ruler of Leo and only Leo. The core traits of the Sun as the ruler are similar to the Leo rising traits. If you listen to my episode of the Zodiac business series on Leo energy, you'll already know this. The Sun is the ruler of your chart. You are going to have these core traits, these core solar traits: leadership, creativity, confidence, charisma. This is all flavoring your entire chart and your business branding. So you're going to want to position yourself as a leader in the market in some way. You're going to want to be more visible. You're going to want to ensure that you remain visible, because that's really key to your brand, to your business's brand. You're also going to want to highlight where you're innovating and where you're finding solutions and creative approaches to problems. Those are important aspects of that solar energy. It's also a very energizing force. So you want to have a brand that feels very vital, very energetic. You might also want to think about bolder language, stronger language, leadership language in your messaging. You want to emphasize this strong, authentic personal brand that you have, or strong, authentic business brand that is going to showcase your unique strengths. The sun's energy is on you and it wants you to shine in your unique way. So you're going to really use that, harness that in your business branding, in your messaging and marketing strategy. How can you shine? Now, understanding the placement of the sun in your chart, like I said, is going to give you that extra nuance and give you deeper insight into your business brand and your marketing strategy. For example, the sun in Libra is going to operate very differently from the sun in Aries when you have the sun ruling your chart. If you've got the sun in Libra, you may be balancing leadership, that solar quality, with harmony, with relationship building, with partnership orientation, with aesthetics, because Libra is also all about beauty and harmony in aesthetics as well. You're going to be very much focused on things being in balance, things being in partnership. If you have the sun as the ruler of your chart and you have the sun in Libra, if you have the sun in Aries, you're going to approach things in a very bold and dynamic way, because you not only have the leadership quality of the sun, but you also have it in this very assertive sign. So the brand is going to be very pioneering. It's going to be focused on action and individuality, compared with the Libra sun, which is going to be focused on partnership. And this is the kind of deeper insight that I explore with my one-on-one clients. So if you want to dive deeper into how your chart works and how your chart ruler works, this is where I would encourage you to book a business astrology reading with me, where we can go into all of this in much more depth than I can cover today. This is just going to give you kind of the broad brushstroke view of how this works. Moving on, the moon as your chart ruler. This means that you are a Cancer rising and only a Cancer rising, because the moon only rules the sign of Cancer. The core traits of the moon as the ruler are nurturing, are intuitive, are emotional, because the moon is about our emotions. They're protective as well. We think of not only of Cancer as the sign, but the moon itself as being this protective, nurturing container. So the business brand is going to need to have this emotional connection with its clients or customers. It's going to need to foster that emotional connectivity. It's going to need to offer products or services that provide some sort of care, support, or comfort that feels like a moon type quality. It may also be related to bringing things up that need to be addressed, those subconscious beliefs, those moon related topics, those things that are a little bit more personal. This brand is going to want to highlight that intuitive quality, and it's going to want to highlight this genuine care for clients' needs. That's going to be at the forefront of the branding for you if the moon is the ruler of your chart. Again, you want to look to the position of the moon in your chart. So the moon is the ruler, but where is the moon in the chart to give you more guidance and more nuance? Mercury as your chart ruler means that you have the rising sign of Gemini or Virgo, because Mercury is the ruler of the signs Gemini and Virgo. So the core traits of someone with Mercury as their chart ruler, or a business with Mercury as its chart ruler, is that communication, intellect, adaptability, and analysis are key. This business brand is going to need to be positioned as an expert in a clear, effective way, where communication is at the forefront. So you want to talk about your ability to communicate and share knowledge. You also want to show your adaptability and versatility. Mercury as your ruler means you have this extra ability to adapt and be versatile. It is in the nature of Mercury itself to be adaptable and versatile. And I think it's really important that your brand showcases that ability to adapt to changing market conditions, changing customer or client needs. Like, you're able to move and change. The other thing you want to look at or think about for your brand and your messaging is really this meticulous attention to detail that Mercury can have as well. This ability to dive into the numbers, into the facts, into the detail, and solve problems in unique ways as well. So Mercury has this ability to connect the dots in new and unusual ways. And that can be part of your brand and your messaging as well. A unique selling proposition for your business is that you're able to connect the dots and see things in a way others don't. Someone with Mercury as their ruler, who has Mercury in a sign like Gemini, is going to operate again very differently to someone who has Mercury in a sign like Scorpio. There's a big difference there. It's really important that you understand how your Mercury is playing out and how that's going to color your entire chart. And this is something that we do in a one-on-one session. So with Venus as your chart ruler, this means that you have a Taurus or a Libra rising, because those are the signs that Venus rules. So the core traits of someone or a company or business with Venus as the chart ruler is that the entire chart is flavored with seeking harmony, seeking beauty, seeking connection, seeking balance and pleasure. That's another thing that Venus is always seeking. If you have a chart that is ruled by Venus, your business brand is going to want to focus on creating things that feel very visually appealing, because that is something the Venus values, and something that feels good. So it wants to look good and feel good. You're going to want to promote a brand that values balance, that values harmony, that shows pleasant experiences, that feels pleasant to deal with, that feels harmonious, that has these strong relationships and connections with clients and collaborators. There is a strong emphasis on collaboration and connection with Venus as the chart ruler. Someone with Venus as their chart ruler who has Venus in Scorpio is going to operate very differently from someone who has Venus in Libra. Venus in Scorpio is going to combine that Venus love for beauty and harmony with Scorpio's intensity, with the depth. You're going to have this blend that is both passionate, authentic, and strategic, right? You're going to have this blend that still wants a beautiful brand, but it wants to go deeper. It wants to get more intense with people. And that's going to be an important part of the branding and messaging strategy, that it's not just surface level, that it is deeper, but it is still about feeling good and things look good, things feel harmonious in terms of the brand feels cohesive and balanced and all of that stuff. But the actual messaging and the work itself is going to have that scorpionic depth and intensity to it. Now, if you have a Venus rule chart and Venus is in Libra, you would have this really harmonious, charming, and socially connected brand. So you'll see the difference. Like, you're still going to be focused on having this beautiful brand and having this harmonious connection with your people. But with a Libran Venus, it's going to be much more elegant, much more charming, because that is the Libran way. The gift of the gab. It has the natural charm about it as well. Okay, so Mars as the chart ruler. This means that you have Aries or Scorpio rising, because in traditional astrology, Mars rules the signs of Aries and Scorpio. If you have Mars as your chart ruler, action, energy, courage, passion, that is core to you or to your business brand. It's very dynamic, it's very energetic. You're going to want to highlight your business's energetic approach to achieving things or to doing business in general. That it's going to feel like it's got this extra courage and initiative in it. Like you're going places other people wouldn't dare to go. That kind of energy. You are taking bold initiatives. You're leading the charge. This is that Mars warrior energy coming to the fore. You are going to show your passion, your drive for your work, for your industry, for whatever business, whatever topic your business is in. You're going to also show this kind of relentless drive to succeed, because that is the Mars, again, the Mars warrior energy in either Aries or Scorpio is very driven and strategic. It really wants to win. And so this is going to become part of your brand and your message as well, that you are moving things forward. You're really groundbreaking. If you take this a step further and look at, where is Mars? So you have a Mars rule chart. Where is Mars in your chart? If it's in Aries, this is going to be a supercharged brand. This is going to be very bold, very dynamic, very enthusiastic, and proactive. If you have Mars in Taurus, you're going to have a brand that is still enthusiastic, but it's more steady, reliable, and practical. You're going to be emphasizing those Taurian themes of persistence, groundedness. Even though Mars is your chart ruler and you're getting things done in this more grounded, practical way. That is Taurus. With Mars in Sagittarius, for instance, I want to give another example here. You've got that drive of Mars, but it's in this adventurous, optimistic sign. So your business brand is going to be more visionary. It's going to be more growth focused or expansion focused. You're going to be driving forward in that Mars way: growth, expansion, exploration, inspiration. Those are those Sagittarian themes coming through. Speaking of Sagittarius, let's move on to Jupiter as your chart ruler. So Jupiter rules the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. The core traits of Jupiter as a chart ruler are expansion, optimism, wisdom, adventure. These are those themes that are coming through in your brand. So in your business brand, you're going to be wanting to emphasize growth, expansion, and position yourself or your business as a leader in that area, a leader in growth, having this broader vision for the future for your clients, taking them further, taking them on a journey even is going to be very Jupiterian. You're going to be very optimistic and positive as well. Jupiter has this buoyance to it. So you're going to want to highlight this positive, optimistic outlook, have an inspiring brand message, really bringing that hopefulness to your clients and customers. You're also going to want to emphasize your expertise and your wisdom. That is another quality of Jupiter. You're going to want to emphasize that you are here to pass on knowledge, that you are here to continuously learn and develop as well. If we take this a step further and think about Jupiter in the signs, Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to have a brand that is very visionary, optimistic, expansive, focused on growth and inspiration. It's going to be like a double whammy of Jupiter, because you've got Jupiter ruling the chart and Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter in Virgo, however, is going to have this expansion and growth from Jupiter ruling the chart, but it being in this detail-oriented, practical and service-focused sign. So it's going to have this twist on the expansion and growth. That is, you're expanding and growing and sharing wisdom in this practical, service-orientated and detailed way. And you're going to emphasize things like reliability and efficiency and growth through those means. I have a lot of entrepreneurial clients with Jupiter as their chart ruler. This is what I would discuss with you in a one-on-one session. So I really encourage you to hop on a call where we can go into that and get to know that nuance. Where is Jupiter in your chart? What is it telling you? How can you adapt your brand to make the most of that Jupiterian energy? So finally, after Jupiter, we have Saturn. Saturn is the seventh planet. It is the limit, as far as the eye can see. Saturn as your chart ruler means that you have either a Capricorn or an Aquarius rising in traditional astrology. So the core traits of Saturn: discipline, structure, responsibility, but also ambition, right? Those are the core things. Saturn is determined to win in a different way to Mars, right? It has its own way of doing things, but it likes structure, it likes boundaries, and it likes to take responsibility. So when you have Saturn as the ruler of your chart, your business brand needs to showcase this discipline that you have, this structured approach to long-term success. You also want to emphasize your commitment to responsibility, your commitment to integrity, very Saturnian. You are also often promoting ethical business practices, or you're doing things in a more ethical way than other people in your industry, and you're going to want to showcase that. You also want to highlight your ambitious goals. This might feel a little counterintuitive for Saturn ruled people, but highlighting the hard work that you do in order to achieve outstanding results, in order to have a better product or service, is part of your branding. It's part of your messaging. It's really important that you show people how much discipline went into your creation, your business. If you have, for instance, Saturn in Capricorn, you've got a Saturn ruled chart and you've got Saturn in Capricorn, this is very Saturnian, you are going to have a brand you're going to have a brand and a message that showcases your discipline, your ambition, your sense of structure. It's going to emphasize responsibility and that commitment to long-term success for both you and your clients or customers. Taking a completely different stance, Saturn in Gemini, you have a Saturn ruled chart, but you have Saturn in Gemini. This is going to create a brand that's a blend of this adaptability of Mercury, of Gemini energy, with this strong discipline and structure of Saturn. It's a tricky one because Gemini energy is very adaptable and versatile and movable, and Saturn is kind of immovable. So you've got this little bit of a juxtaposition there, but I think that could create a really strong brand message because you're using the structure and discipline of Saturn to ground the communicative energy of Gemini, to ground those ideas. You're going to help people to ground those ideas down into some form, into some structure, which I think is a very powerful brand position. So it's time to explore your own chart ruler. Let me know which planet is your chart ruler and what your takeaways are from my examples today. I would love to hear. And if you'd like to dive deeper, book your one-on-one business astrology reading with me so we can unpack all of this together and get you some practical and powerful insights for you to apply in your business right now.